to Diamond Egg Dominion's special episode. I'm Zach. And I'm Ben.
This is our new game! We did pick up the new expansion to Dominion Adventures, so you should see coming soon an actual full episode of us playing through and reviewing the set. Though we haven't been able to review it yet because, as you can see, it hasn't been opened yet. Just came in the mail today, so we're going to do another boxing. So in case you haven't seen what's in the box yet, you can see it. And we'll give you our first impressions of what we think of this set. I like the box art already. I like the cover.
Good box art.
Like, the thing that it reminds me of is the first game. Yeah. Just because it's the horse guy, and there used to be a village over here. It was the village artwork, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Or no, it wasn't. It was similar to it, but different. But, yeah, it's very similar to the first box art, which I really like, especially if this is the last one.
Is.
Or
is it?
Apparently, the last one was supposed to be the last one, but you know what? Hearing this one come out and actually hearing what it's about, I'm pretty okay buying it. Because it's like, there's some new type of stuff going on in here that I really like. We'll definitely see some duration cards when we open this up, that we've heard that. But there's also some new things that we'll show off as we open up. Because we have seen some videos on this already. And so we know a little bit what to expect, but we don't know everything. So why don't we open this up and see what we got?
Aye.
Alright, let's open this bad boy. There we go. You always gotta find a corner that's the best to open. Here we go. Maybe. There we go. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got in this bad boy. Alright. Oh, I like the box. New boxes always feel really good.
Look at that. Pretty.
Yeah, so these should be the tokens that we're going to have to punch out.
Tokens.
So there's some cards that let you put tokens on. I don't even know exactly how they work, but there's certain cards that I know you put these tokens on now for like a buy pile. And when you buy cards from that pile, you get something off of it. So I believe that's how these work. We'll see more probably as we read the cards, but we'll punch those out. I like that they also planned ahead. They gave you enough for 6 players, since especially in expansions, you got 6 players there. I'll let you punch those out, open some cards. Boom. Oh look, something. Alright, so it looks like we got a big expansion here. Every spot in this box will be taken up by expansion cards.
Dang.
Yeah, they don't give you a spot for your treasures and stuff, so. Some of the expansions for Dominion gave you room to put your base treasures in. So, one day I would very much like to have a box that fits all the cards in, and I see them online all the time, but.
That would be a good 230 now.
Yep. So here we go. I'll show you guys some of the duration cards. I've heard about this one already, Dungeon. So here's our duration. So this one, for example, gives you an action, and then now at the start of your next turn, you get 2 cards, but then you have to discard 2 cards. So not a bad 3 card there. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of duration cards here.
Good old gear. You draw 2 cards when you play this, and you set aside up to 2 cards from your hand, face down. Starting next turn, you put them in your hand. So what's that card like from Seaside?
What?
Haven. The one where you draw a card and you put one aside?
Yeah. So of course, it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 duration cards that come in this set, so. We're not going to go through every card here, but eventually we will as we do our actual episodes. We're just going to show off a few of the different card types. This one is a new one we should show off. These are called reserve cards. And when you play these, they go onto your reserve mat, which are actually these things.
Ha! We found it.
So, for example, it says, for this one, +1 card, +1 action, put this on your tavern mat. And it says then, at the start of your turn, you may call this to discard your hand and draw 5 cards. So pretty much, a guide will let you, it looks like, it will let you pretty much toss a crappy hand and pick up a new one. As long as it's on your reserve mat. Otherwise, while it's in your deck, it's not going to do anything. It just replaces itself.
And then we got a nice distant land here, which is a victory action reserve. And what this does is you just put it on your mat, and it's worth 4 points if it's on your mat at the end of the game. Otherwise, it's worth nothing.
Ooh. So, of course, then we got a few new just standalone action cards. I've heard about Magpie. It is pretty much like rats from what I hear, except this one's to find treasures, I believe. It says, reveal the top card of your deck If it's a treasure, put it into your hand. If it's an action or victory card, gain a magpie. And all this does is it replaces itself, so...
Port is another card. It's very interesting. It's exactly the same as Village, but it costs 4. Why, you might ask? Well, because when you buy a port, you get another port. So it's like a 2-for-1 Village. That's pretty nifty.
The Ranger here uses something called a Journey Token. Not sure what that is quite yet. I'm going to assume it's one of these. But we'll be reading the rulebook and figuring all those out. So there's definitely some token play. Some of these cards will use those tokens.
Got another nice reserve card here. Coin of the Realm. It's 1 coin, and you put it, when you play it, you put it on your treasure mat. And directly after resolving an action card, you may call this for 2 additional coins. So that's pretty nifty. Or 2 additional actions, sorry, my bad. 2 additional actions. So it helps with action stacking.
Alright, so the game also comes with a bunch of events, which I know you set these to the side. They don't count as like the 10 cards you play with, but there's like a whole bunch you can pick from. So, I'll have to read exactly how it works, but you got a bunch, so...
I think you pick like 2 or something?
Yeah, and you can leave them to the side, and at any time you can pay the cost at the top to get the effect. Like for this one, Bonfire, trash up to 2 cards you have in play. So you can pay 3 coins and do that, I guess. We'll look into that more. But there's a lot of cool ones, so they definitely give you a lot of events to play with, so I'll definitely want to play with some of these. These will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last type of card we should mention, other than, so we've got the reserves, we got more durations that are new, of course standard actions. Another big thing though for this game is upgradable cards.
So it starts with buying the Peasant. And what the Peasant is it's just a little coin and a buy, which is all nifty. But when you discard the Peasant from play, you may exchange it for a Soldier, in which is the next level. In which this one gives you a little bit better of effect. And then once you play the Soldier, you may discard it for a Fugitive. And then that gives you a little bit better effect, or maybe a different effect. Because the other ones I saw gave you coins, this one gives you action cards. And then when you play the Fugitive, you may exchange the Fugitive for a Disciple.
Woo!
And that is, you may play an action card from your hand twice, gain a copy of it. So it's like a nice little throne room with gaining a copy of it. And then when you play a Disciple, you may exchange it for a Teacher. The Teacher is the ultimate upgrade of this card. And what this says is put this on your tavern mat. So you put the Teacher on your tavern mat. And at the start of your turn, you may call this to move your +1 card, +1 action, +1 buy, or +1 token to an action supply pile you have no tokens on. So you get to move some sort of coin around that helps you. I don't know what they do yet, but you know. When you play a card from that pile, you get that bonus. So that's pretty nifty. So if you had a +1 coin token on the copper pile, every time you play a copper, you get +1 coins. Now coppers are worth silvers. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Stuff like that. So that's that upgrade.
So then there's another one. We won't go through the whole upgrade process on this one, but it's a page, and you can get pretty much through it. She becomes, it's like a hero or whatever.
In the end, it becomes a champion, in which I kind of talked about on our Dark Ages episode. And in which this is, for the rest of the game, when another player plays an attack card, it doesn't affect you. And when you play an action, +1 action, meaning I guess you always get another action. And this stays in play. It is not in the supply. So that's awesome. That could be immune to action or attack cards.
Do you want to talk about that one?
And then this is, I haven't seen any of these before. It is an action duration reaction card. So not only does it help you throughout the start of your next turn, if it's in your hand you can play it. So what it does is its action effect is you get a card and an action, and at the start of your next turn you get an extra coin. So that's pretty nifty. The reaction part of this is, when another player plays an attack card, you may play this from your hand. The +1 action has no effect if it's not your turn. So, if someone plays an attack card, you can play this immediately, which is nifty. And at the start of your next next turn, you'll get an extra coin. And you'll have discarded or put this in play and get an extra card or something. I don't know, I just think that's kind of cool.
Alright, so we'll have some more cards to play with here. Let's go to final thoughts of just our first impressions. Alright, so I'm definitely excited for some of these cards. I think my favorites right now are the reserve cards. Which
Yeah, those look fun.
Which you put on your tavern mats. Those are going to be cool. I definitely like the... I'm not a huge fan of duration cards, but I'm glad to have more of them.
Love durations.
The problem is just remembering that you had it out, and like that's a problem for me. I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah, but the reserve I'm definitely excited for the most.
I'm excited most for these upgrades.
Yeah, those are going to be cool too. There's only 2 of them, but that's cool. Oh, and the events. I like the idea of these events, especially the artwork. I just like the artwork on some of these. Like the fairy artwork's cool. All these just look nice.
Doesn't matter how good your game is, if you have artwork that's awesome, everyone will love it.
People complain about the artwork for Dominion, but I'm okay with it. Some of them are not good, I'll be honest. Like this one card, Borrow, I don't like the artwork for it, but...
Yeah.
But like this one, Lost Arts, I kind of
It's
like.
free.
Let's see. So yeah, there's a bunch of cards. The tokens, yeah. I like the tokens they've had in the past with their metal and stuff. These cardboard ones look kind of cheap, but that's fine. I guess they aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Other than that, pretty much I don't have anything more to say. I guess I don't have any cards. I'll have to take a look at them and see which ones I'm excited for. There's definitely some cool concepts in here. I like the ones that's like, you can pull this off your reserve at a point to do something.
Yeah.
Especially like the one that was like, pull it off your reserve to trash a card from your hand. Otherwise, that card's not going to do you anything. It just replaces itself. But that's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, that's it. So Adventures, we'll have to play through it, and then we'll give you our official, how we stand with the
Well, look at that.
this set. Yep. And of course, all the expansions for Dominion, which if you haven't heard of one of these, we reviewed it, so go right ahead. Looks like they combined Guilds and Cornucopia on the back here. That's fine. But Alchemy is off on its own, because as you know, we don't like Alchemy that much.
We like Alchemy, it's just it has to be played
Yeah.
all together. It's not a good
It's not my
mix.
favorite. It's my least.
Yeah. I like it, it's just you can't play it with everything else easily.
Yeah. Still, I have to say, Hinterlands has been one of my favorite. That and Prosperity. Anyway, though, so Adventures, you'll be seeing an episode for that very soon. So you have that to look forward to.